I've come to a beautiful piece of St. Charles. We're surrounded by trees, sitting up on a hill with Pete and Barbara Rosie, who have this really interesting country retreat that I guess you restored. It was built in, what is it, 1932?
Right.
And you restored it in the 80s and 90s.
Well, we started restoring it in the middle '85, and we moved in '89. 89, May of '89.
And I'm guessing the reason you were willing to do so much work is all that.
Oh yeah, it's
right?
a gorgeous view.
That is remarkable. You were, when you bought it, you were on 32 acres, is that right?
When we originally bought it, it was a 32-acre estate that was needed everything. It was totally run down. It took us at least 2 years to clear around, just so you could walk around the lake.
Really? Could you see the lake from here at the time?
You could see the lake, a piece of the lake.
Right.
And when we bought it, we changed the whole concept to a home you could live in, because you couldn't live in it the way it was when we bought it.
Let's see how it is now. Let's see what you've
great.
done.
Thank you.
Boy, it's terrific inside. So this, I think you said, this is an original piece of the house.
Yes, this barrel vaulted ceiling is the only original plaster in the home from 1932.
Nice. And this frieze is?
This frieze is a copy of a frieze from the bridge over the River Seine in Paris. And we love this piece, and that's why it came from my folks' place in Chicago. And we found a duplicate miraculously, and we installed it.
This would be sort of the central room of the house, this living room.
Yes.
Right? And what is terrific is we've got the fireplace on one side, the view on the other. It's a great place to spend a winter afternoon. Even though, as we've discussed, you've subdivided the property, from here, what we have is just a view of countryside.
Well, we've tried to keep the feel from before it was subdivided. Okay,
sure.
That's what took quite a while, and I think hopefully we succeeded in doing that.
The travertine comes back
right
here with the mantle, the surround for the fireplace, and this is a terrific fireplace. This is the same detail as over the doors in the living room, right?
You'll see the travertine motif throughout the home.
Really nice.
In the bathrooms and in the fireplaces.
Now, you told me that this chandelier has a history.
It was in the Paris Exposition in 1925, and it's never been hung before. After that exposition where it was showed for the first time, it was in storage till it was discovered, and we ended up with it in our beautiful dining room.
Well, that's terrific. So it's an antique, but it's nearly new.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's great.
Exactly.
Now, in this room, we've got the crown molding, but you picked up the ceiling, right?
Right.
This would have been a flat roof room.
Exactly. It was a flat roof room, and we vaulted the ceiling. I think it's 17 or 18 feet to the peak, and it gave it just a lot more of a presence. And when you come, to have dinner in here.
This is the master bedroom suite.
We're all on one level. I know you have an in-law apartment upstairs, but master feeds right off the living room. And didn't you say that originally we could have looked all the way through the length of the house?
Right.
But you've moved walls around. And what you've done, even though you've moved walls around and things, you've got a lot of unity. The crown molding is the same, the draping on the mantle.
The travertine.
Yeah, nice. And what about these lights?
These are alabaster lights from Spain. And when we ordered them, that was the biggest order they've ever had on a single wall sconce. We have 57 in the house. So
57
again,
of...
But that's the unity,
Sure.
the uniformness of having the travertine, the alabaster lights, the molding.
Oak flooring.
It makes it very comfortable that everything is sort of pulled together and we sort of focus on that view. And that view, once again, every room we come into, we see. It's pretty magnificent with the oaks, the lake, and today the snow.
There's not a bad view out of the house.
I wouldn't think there would be.
And out here, this is the back area where there's a fountain and a figure. And a fountain.
And the land sort of rolls twice. We go down into a ravine, back up and down again.
Well, one thing that I think is characteristic of Oak Shadows is really unique is that you have to go to Galena or the Kettle Moraine to see any like type of topography, okay?
Oh, that's true.
Kane County is basically cornfields, is pretty flat. Oak Shadows in this part of Kane County is truly unique because it's so rolling. It's very glacial.
Well, it's the Fox River Valley.
Right.
So this is when you start rolling into the Fox River.
That's terrific. Well, you've taken advantage of it. Back here, we've got another sort of a small family room and kitchen. This is the more sort of informal part of the house, right?
It is, and this is the part of the house that is totally new in design.
Oh, yeah?
This is where there was originally a 2-story garage with apartment above it that cut a gable in half.
With an apartment above it?
Yes.
Like for a caretaker?
Yes, and they used to raise Great Danes. They would breed Great Danes here in the garage part. And architecturally, it cut the gable in half. So it was expedient for them to build it that way, but
Right.
it wasn't with the style of the home. So that was removed, and this is all newly designed for the kitchen and area. And of
great.
course, this is where everyone ends up when you're trying to cook for a holiday.
I would think. And this is a great spot. The stone here is terrific. This is more like the stone we've seen outside, expertly laid stone, and it points me in that direction. What
Yes,
did you do here? You told me a little bit about what you were trying to accomplish here.
Well, what we've got here is an axis right on the center. So you've got the fireplace, which is a great focal place when it's dark outside in the winter, or straight outside there, we've got the fountain that has the bather figure in the center. And in the courtyard, right outside the windows, we have a fountain on the left, which is dripping, a dripper fountain.
That's terrific. So we really are surrounded by water. We had the water figure in the front hall, but with the lake and the fountains, you've sort of made that another theme that I hadn't even noticed.